Josh goes to Costco and he just loads up, fills his entire car, and just drops off oversupplied stuff in each single house. And then when it comes to laundry, we try to do a majority of the laundry that's easily done. Whenever the cleaners come, they immediately come and they just start stripping the breads. We strip the breads. No one likes crust. And then
no crusty breads in the house.
No crusty breads. And so, anyways, you put all the easily washed things in the washer and dryer, and all the big, heavier things that you can't really put in the washer and dryer, it takes up the entire thing. It'll take forever. Then one of the cleaners puts it in a big old bag, and then goes to the washateria. I'm in a lot of Latino neighborhoods, and so we have washaterias, and so you just do that, and they put a big bulk thing there. And then they let that run, and they sit there, have one person just basically sit there and watch the stuff, that way it doesn't get stolen, while the other cleaner is at home starting to do that. And then once you do that, they take it back to the property, and then they finish the property up by putting everything back on the beds, and they just basically do all the tidiness. And then by that point, that's left like an hour or two for the other cleaner to basically clean up the property and all the basics, and they'll do the final touches whenever they come back with all the laundry.
Okay.
Does that answer that question?
Yeah, so you have Josh go run supplies. He goes and restocks maid closets. You have people go to the washateria to do linens, and you hire a housekeeping company, but you've bought down the price because you've given the housekeeping company like not only your homes but your clients' homes.
Yep.
Cool. And mine, I've built my own cleaning company, so that way we can really buy down the cost as much as humanly possible, and then we sell our cleaning company to other Airbnb hosts. We have, because we're as large as we are, we have like a multi-phase stocking system. A lot of our studios or one bedrooms don't have enough closet space to have a maid closet, so we've got these black like bins that are lockable, and I did a video on that actually before, which you can find on my channel. But
what's your channel?
Airbnb Automated for it's an upcoming channel. You
Like
guys will
and subscribe.
You guys will see it one day. But we've got these black bins that we store all the essentials in, like extra toilet paper, cleaning supplies, a bunch of and we have coffee stations where we box up all the extra coffee station stuff. So we leave a controlled amount of that stuff in the unit when we make it ready. And so we've got these roller bins, and then we have inside of apartment complexes where we have enough properties. We then have a storage unit, like a small one, like a 4x4 or 4x6, and we have additional stocked up stuff. We keep a spare TV locally because TVs can get broken or stolen. We keep extra linens and stuff in the storage unit, and then these black bins we actually have fully made ones. And if somebody's low on supplies, we roll it out of the apartment and then roll in one of the full ones. And then in the off hours, we pay somebody to reload these black bins. So we use this black bin system where we ship them in and take them out of apartments. And then in Dallas, we'll have one large storage unit where we get all this extra stuff in, and we can actually even keep furniture if we need to keep a surplus of furniture if we're moving out of apartments and then moving into them days or weeks later. So we've got one major storage unit locally per city. Then we have little storage units in apartment complexes that have enough apartments. If we have two apartment complexes that only have 3 or 4 units each, then we'll get a storage unit in one, and they'll be close to each other. So it's like a logistics chain.
It's a follow-up question.
How often do you restock the storage boxes? No, every single time that we come in, we start to unload from it, and I'd say every 2, 3, maybe 4 housekeeping visits, we'll need to restock it again. So we'll have one full one ready to go, and then we'll pull it. So if you have 4 apartments that have storage bins, every single time you go to clean, one of them's probably due to get changed out.
Cool. And then quickly for all you guys on Instagram, I see a whole bunch of you guys on my Instagram live asking questions. I cannot read that from here. I'm trying to focus on the YouTube one. So if you guys have any questions, or you guys are trying to get
We've got a wave and a what's up, bro.
Yeah, there was a couple more when you were talking.
Uh-oh.
So make sure to go to YouTube and then ask questions on there. Okay,
hey,
so
Robert.
Quickly, I want to pop into... Hey, Robert Jacob. That guy's so cool. If you guys get a chance, go to Rob in the chat box. Robert Jacob is going to be in the chat box. Click on that and subscribe to his channel. He's got some great content as well. Young hustler. All right, next question.
Robert actually has a question.
Let's go in order. Are you on NZT 48? If you knew me in real life, you would know that is a ridiculous question. I am not intelligent at all. I just can only be... I'm like an idiot savant. When the camera comes on, I can fake intelligence for just a short amount of time, and then after it's over, I just go back to
NCT 48 is episode 48 of the new Dragon Ball Z series. You look just like the character from episode 48.
No, I asked Josh. He's like, that's the smart pill. Like, it's like that's the limitless pill.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is that the narcolepsy drug, the one that actually like keep people with narcolepsy awake? Is that one?
I mean, if it
You know
is,
what I'm
I should
talking about?
use it because I'm constantly tired.
So.
Yeah, they use. Well, NCT 48 is actually the name from the movie. Okay, so fun story. I have a friend who's special forces, and there's a drug that they had special forces operatives take if they needed to stay up extended periods of time, like multiple days. And it's the same drug that doctors will prescribe somebody with narcolepsy to keep them awake during the day so that they won't just fall asleep. Because
My brain works so much better when I am, like, I feel like I'm constantly really dumb and slow, but whenever I'm well rested or I have coffee in me or something like that, I'm like, wow, I'm actually a lot smarter than I thought. So I think a lot of my slowness of the mind just has to go with lethargy. I think
as a man thinketh, or as a man doesn't thinketh.
yeah, as a man doesn't thinketh, he needs energy. All
Did
right.
Joshua Pesci, what's up, party people?
Yeah.
Hey, cool, thanks,
What's up,
Josh.
party
We're calling
people?
Party people.
All right, we got another one. Have you had any luck getting your landlords to get a forbearance on your properties, or are they just doing deferments? Okay, so
You are the landlord.
Yeah, so this is not a very complicated question. So there's a difference between deferments and then the forbearance. So the forbearance you have to pay. The way that it's currently written right now is that you have to pay back after your 3 month. They say right now it's like 90 with a potential for 120 days. And so you have to pay back all 3 months all at once, kind of like what I said earlier in the chat or in this live stream. But whereas a deferment, you can defer those payments to the end of the mortgage life. And so you can just tack them on at the end. What it's looking like is going to happen is that at the end of the 3 months, a lot of these people aren't going to have any negotiating power, and they're going to basically make them either pay all three up month or all three things up at first, all four in June or July or whatever. Or they're going to have to restructure their mortgage, and then whenever you restructure your mortgage, you typically lose, especially if you don't come from if you're not trying to do it on your terms, you're trying to do it on their terms, you're typically going to get worse terms, and it's going to screw a lot of people over. So that is the answer to that question.
And for me, yes, I've
Cavity
talked a couple
free.
landlords into taking forbearances. We're working on. I'm going to do another video on every negotiation I've made with landlords. We've done a couple different restructurings.
Okay. And what else we got, Josh? How often do you stock? So we already got that one.
Robert Jacob had. What's your opinion on entering a land contract for Airbnb?
A land contract for Airbnb. Airbnb automated is still underrated. A land contract, like buying
Thanks,
land for Airbnb.
Yeah, and then Joshua Pass followed up. How would you use a land contract for Airbnb?
Yeah, like I guess I'm not getting the question. Sorry, Robert. I mean, I guess buying land for Airbnb experiences possibly. Like maybe you can go ride horses on your land.
Maybe like tiny homes. Like people are like.
Yeah, you can have multiple homes.
I know somebody who like in North Dallas wanted to do that. Grab a plot of land and just put a bunch of tiny homes on there.
I do have a well, my dad has a property out by, if you guys know Texas, there's a thing called Fossil Rim and also Dinosaur Valley, and he's got big, awesome, like 100 acres land right next to it with a big old natural pond. And we were thinking about possibly just going back there and putting a whole bunch of like cottages or tiny homes around the natural pond / little body of water. And it's beautiful out there, a bunch of wildlife, a bunch of horses, and all sorts of stuff that we can make a whole experience. People can stay at this beautiful home and then do a bunch of wildlife stuff on the land and then camp outside under the stars, and then the next day go and spend a whole day at Fossil Rim or go out into like kind of like a Dinosaur Valley experience. We're thinking about going to that, but it's just the startup cost of that might be a little too high right now for the amount of money we can get, because we're not quite sure. There's not a lot of Airbnbs in Glen Rose right now, so we're thinking about that. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Rob. Oh,
So
hey,
you saying
thanks
his
for the
family
intro.
owns dinosaurs.
My family does. My dad is a dinosaur. He's born rent to own. Rent to own the land?
No, that's a different book.
Oh.
I don't know. Robert, you're confusing me. We're going to go on to the next one until we figure this out.
So he's saying it's rent to own while marketing the property for Airbnb. So it's like a seller it's like a seller finance.
Maybe. It's not an easily answered question. Sorry, Robert.
If it's a seller finance, like
Thanks for.
When is the next meetup? There's Justin. He asked that earlier. We knew that he was
Oh
going to
yeah,
ask.
Justin.
What's up,
We have a whole bunch of. Hey Justin, thanks for always being a great guy to supporting us. We have a whole bunch of questions from Instagram. We're gonna answer whenever we stop getting chats in the YouTube, just the way it doesn't.
Well, the moment we're allowed to host a thing is going to be when the next meetup is, because I don't think it's socially responsible to have 30, 40 strangers in one room right now. We probably get fined big time from the city, and then everybody would unsubscribe to our channels for being socially irresponsible. We're trying to get people.
We legit actually like doing those meetups. It's fun. It's always good to see people. It's wow, I can't believe people actually came to this. Especially the one in Chicago. I was like, this is really cool. We should do more of these.
So last time you were on one of my videos, the lady's like, you guys should be social distancing. Well, just so you all know, we actually quarantined. We have a quarantine team, about 6 of us, who all spent a couple of weeks isolated, so we were not going to get each other sick. So now we can hang out with each other because we all went through this initiation process, like Freemasons.
Yeah, the girl I'm dating right now, we've been really particular about who we surround ourselves with, and so we even had to cut one of our good friends out. But then they kind of been isolated, so we kind of let it back in. But anyways, we're quarantining together basically, and so yes, there's no problems with us hanging out with each other. We actually might go get a super discount on some awesome 7-8 bedroom mansions over in Austin this weekend if Sean can convince them to discount the rates, and then we might make a video if we do that about how to use Airbnb's timely situation right now to benefit the hosts because they're screwed, but also benefit yourself from a staycation and get something you normally couldn't afford. So something we're working on right now. Stay tuned. It's going to be on his channel. And I'll tell you guys about it.
We could do a property feature or something where we go visit a house, and I guess we'd have to find out what kind of content exactly we want to cover. But we could do a property feature and talk about big vacation rentals and how they're doing.
We'll do the content will be us just fighting each other, just like a Mortal Kombat style.
If any of you hosts are fine with us trying to kill each other in your home, please reach out and like and subscribe.
Okay, so I'm going to read this one to you from Phil. You just got a question about indicators. What indicators do you find most feasible when researching on which city to choose when moving to a new country?
New country.
And
And Phil, thanks for the compliment. Thanks. We try our best to put out good content. So
when to get Airbnbs in a new
So
country?
indicators. Do you find most feasible when researching on which city to choose? Okay, so he's asking when expanding internationally, if you're gonna expand to Germany or France or Brazil, what research metrics would you use? And somebody actually on my Facebook group asked what do I do to research what cities are good. I think even if you're expanding domestically in the country you live in or even internationally, I think a lot of the same indicators would be the case. He asked if I use AirDNA, and I don't.
Me? I asked that?
No, the person on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
So I use normally, because everything is changing right now, I normally use the Airbnb platform, and I'll actually look at, I'll speculate. There's first you do a layer on where you think the travel economy is growing faster than the hotel industry is, even down to the neighborhoods. So I really think you should always expand locally because you should have home field advantage. For example, in Philadelphia, I found a local realtor who knew a lot about the Philly market, and we identified a neighborhood that was gentrifying so fast that hotels couldn't turn around and build there. Because everything was already built out in Philly. New York, Philadelphia, Boston, they're already really dense, so they would have to destroy a block to build something, and that takes time. So as urban areas gentrify faster than hotels can, then there's usually these windows of opportunity for a year or two. And so having local presence really helps you decide how and where to build out. And in order to vet a neighborhood, I'll get on the Airbnb platform and I'll look at people's listings and I'll reverse engineer. I'll look at their calendars, what their nightly rates are, what they're discounting on multi-day stays, everything. And try to identify also how strong is the host community there? Are their photos good? Is their copywriting good? How competitive and how developed are hosts in this area? So there's a few different things you're looking for. One is you're looking for those economic factors where the tourism or the amount of travel to that specific area is growing faster than the hotel industry. You want to see how competitive your competition is on the home share side, and you want to see how profitable those people are. And those would be the things that I'd look at. Now, because of this crisis, you can't go into Airbnb and do the data search because everything's not booked. How do you actually vet it right now? So I will have to get back to you on an answer of like what I would do to like, because right now here's one thing that I am going to do a video on is in my world rental arbitrage. The key to like profitability is the arbitrage, which is the difference between what you rent and what you revenue. And so right now, the best way to profit on rental arbitrage is to find landlords that will give you the best deals. And you're going to really have to mix that in as like a strategy change. You can't just look for good markets. You need to look for markets where the landlords are giving you the best deals, because those become good markets. Because the lower your rent is, the more sturdy you are.
And I want to just, before we move on to this question, I just want to say, for me, I have a lot of family that's in Greece. And so if I were to add in anything on this, the other couple of things I'd want to do is keeping my peace of mind is figure out tax incentives. So figure out if the country has any tax incentives to bring kind of foreign real estate purchasers or investors to come buy properties in that country, because a lot of countries do. And then they're also figure out how their currency is and basically see if it's backed by anything. You don't want to like go into certain places. I'm not going to name certain countries in case you're watching right now, but certain countries you don't want to be getting your currency in that currency because it's super volatile. So you want to make sure it's backed by a stronger currency. And then 3, you want to see what the likelihood is for tourism to exist with the down economy. And so certain places, like you can go back to 2009, 2010, and you can see what their economy did and how much their economy was affected by business, but yet how strong their tourism survived. So say, for instance, Greece still had a really strong, Santorini and Mykonos and all that stuff like that, they still had really, really strong numbers. They were barely affected, if not, they were benefited because a lot of people that had wealth still went and traveled to these more expensive places. But the economy of Greece was completely shot. Other than the shipping industry, like they had nothing but shipping and like tourism. And so you got to figure out, are you buying into, I don't know, a random like El Salvador? And then if you're getting something, a really good deal in El Salvador, you got to see, well, how good is the tourism in El Salvador? How was it in the last financial crisis? Can it survive the next one? Can I shelter myself and always be an all-weather, as the Ray Dalio, I think, all-weather scenario to where no matter what the situation is, you're still going to make money on this property. Don't buy into what might happen in the country. Buy into what's already happened in the country. Don't gamble. Make an actual investment. So that's my tidbit on
Greece
that.
is under quarantine right now, though. People can't even.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing is that nowhere is a good place to buy right now. But if you were to say once this is up, then what's the most likelihood? If other than a pandemic, he's looking to buy in Turkey, is what he said.
Ooh,
so we went to Istanbul.
Yeah,
and that was
like
fun.
that.
Yeah.
Cappadocia, the air balloon city would be like, so if not Istanbul, Cappadocia is a really good tourism market. There's been a huge Instagram push. There's tourism groups in Turkey that have been trying to get people to go to Cappadocia. So if you can get in on that, if they succeed in driving more traffic there, because I've seen a lot of like influencers like hanging out in a hot tub where all these air balloons are behind them. It's like they made a big push like a year ago.
I would personally avoid Talcum Square, whatever, however you say it, Taksim Square. I would try to get into an area that's a little more Instagrammable friendly. We went there and it was cool.
If you're close to the Blue Mosque or anything like any staples, that's good too.
Yeah.
It's a battle of lucks. The smaller the property, the more like location specific you need to be. You need to be real sharp. If you have a 1-bedroom or a studio, you need to be right where people want to be. A 3 or 4 bedroom, you can be a little bit further away because there's less supply.
So we got Mac Vegas 702. What type of property would you prefer for someone that's just starting the business in a place like Las Vegas, Nevada? For example, a house, condo, townhome, etc.
Well, I guess it depends on Vegas phone number.
Yeah, if you're trying to buy property and then rent, or buy property and then Airbnb it like I do, or rental arbitrage like him. I guess there's 2 different answers. If it was me, then if I was in Vegas, I don't know much about the Vegas market, so I can't say that I'm an expert on it. But if I were to assume to know, then I'd want to get something as close to the strip as possible. And if that's the case, it's probably going to be a condo. But a condo is going to have HOA, and the HOA is not going to allow you to be able to do it, so therefore you're stuck. And so if you can somehow find something as close to the strip as possible, people want convenience when they go to Vegas, and they want luxury. So they want that floor-to-ceiling condo kind of vibe. So if you have not had a property yet, please, if you guys are watching this, if you're buying a property for Airbnb, do not buy something that has an HOA. You're going to get voted out and you're going to waste all your money. So don't do it. Mm-hmm. So basically, my answer is to find something sexy and find something as close to the Strip as possible, but make sure it makes sense outside of Airbnb, because as you see right now, Vegas is getting hit hard because anything happens in the economy or everything happens like a pandemic, it's just completely shut down.
Actually, Vegas isn't doing as bad because all the hotels have shut down, so a lot of the supply is gone. So it's really strange.
I don't know, actually. Let him answer the rest of the
I
question.
actually did a call with an investor in Vegas, and so homes with pools. If you have a pool in your home and you can take a photo of your pool with a unicorn floaty thing that a lot of people like, you have to have an Instagrammable house in Vegas. That's it. Because people go to party and live it up. So your place needs to be social media friendly. So having a pool, like really cool floaties that people can lay out and have their drinks on, stuff like that. 5, 6, 7 bedroom homes are crushing it. Now Vegas did make Airbnb illegal because the hotel lobbies, so being on the Strip is pretty much impossible. But if you go just south of the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, because Vegas is really small, square mileage wise, so there are a lot of little cities that you can Airbnb in. So south of the Strip, near the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, like Enterprise and stuff like that, those towns, you can Airbnb there and get away with it. Now, the city hasn't really cracked down on people's 5, 6 bedroom homes with the pools though. So I think what the hotel lobbies are really trying to do is they're trying to prevent you from getting condos on the Strip, because right next to the Aura is a residential high rise, and the last thing they want you to do is Airbnb one of those and take business from the Aura itself. You know what I mean? So that's from my experience and research what I would do with Vegas.
Okay, I don't know exactly the best way to answer this because I'm not a account kind of dude,
Okay.
and so Josh tried to get Kyle Webb to explain, but let's go into that. You can answer it pretty easily. How to set up a co-host account. Believe in California you need to be a licensed agent to manage the property. Do I put the owner as the host and then me as the co-host, or can I just be the main host?
So if you're trying to bypass co-host law as far as having to be a property manager, see, you have to be a property manager if you're having people sign leases, right? If you're representing the property legally. So you can have the property the property owner be the host, and if they add you as a co-host, they are the lead on there. So you're not legally liable if you're assisting them with something that they are, because if you're the property manager and then you have employees, those employees don't have to be licensed. If you have assistants, those assistants don't have to be licensed. So there's a workaround here. My only caution against this is when you co-host, you really want to have control of the property, and there's things that I'm actually going to do a future video on this, but let me tease it. As a co-host pitching property owners, the reason why you want them to let you list their property on your account is if you have more than 20 listings, you can be on Expedia. So having somebody join your co-host group and let you admin, you have to be the admin, letting you admin their property allows you to put them on Expedia. It also ensures that you get paid, because a lot of managers, they bring on a co-host and they pay 20% out to the co-host. They could just default and not pay you, and you have no recourse. If you own the listing, they can't cut and run with the listing and all the reviews. You own the reviews, you own the listing, it's on your account. So that's one reason why you want to fight to do this. And so one big thing that you can do is the reason why somebody should co-host with you and give up their listing to your account is because of Expedia. Another big factor for pitching like co-hosting is that you can get their cleaning done at a lower cost because you'll have more properties that you represent, so you can actually buy down their operational costs. And housekeeping is a big expense. So, but to answer the legality question, if you have to be licensed, then yes, you become the co-host and let them be the admin, and that essentially bypasses that.
Cool. CJ O'Neill, thanks for always supporting both of our channels. You and Justin or JT always are in the comments, and I really appreciate that. All right, we got Christina Robertson. Hi, Sean. Which one? Can you explain your buy 5, pay them off strategy, then refinance? Yeah, sure, of course.
How much time you got?
Yeah, this is an hour-long seminar. I don't know if you were in Chicago or not, but yeah, real quickly, basically sum it up. I'm going to make a more detailed video. I just don't know if this is very time-sensitive right now to start going into the strategy, but we're going to go into it right now real quick.
Did you post the buy 5 in your channel? Did you upload your part of it?
No.
Oh, so you haven't uploaded your Chicago speech yet?
No, I just didn't, because as soon as I was about to upload the Chicago speech, all this stuff started coming out. I was
Cool,
like,
so-
I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't.
Well, you can still upload it, I guess. So yeah, we can summarize, but I think your next upload should be that.
I'll upload the next video because I don't know what video to make next. If you guys could in the chat room maybe give me some ideas on what videos to make next. But I guess the next video I can do is the full explanation from my Chicago one, and then I can make like a summary video off of that hour-long one from Chicago.
Landlord reacts to self.
Yeah. Future millionaire reacts to a future millionaire.
Nice, I love it.
Okay, so quickly, I have a 5 homes to financial freedom method model that I want to teach people in the future once this all is kind of cleared up. But basically what it is that you do 5% down on every single home you can possibly, well, that's not true. Do 5% down the first rental home that you want to do, and you move into it if you can. If not, then you can just move, you can buy it, put Airbnb on, and then start making, your goal is to make at least $1,000 cash flow after all your bills and everything. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get into too much detail about going to numbers in a future video. But then once you buy that one, the second year, you buy another one, 5% down, because you do 5% every single year, as long as you don't, whatever. We'll get into that detail in a later video. But then the second year, you have 2. And now you have an extra $24,000 coming into your bank account every single year off these first 2 properties. Mm-hmm. And then by the third year, now you buy a third one. And with the extra money you're making, at this point, you're going to be pulling in $36,000 extra a year. And then plus your actual job, you start saving up, and that will give you enough money to put a down payment on a second one at 25% down. So now you can buy 2 homes the third year. And so by the 4th year, you're now trying to do the last 5th home, right? Is that right? So by that point, now you're getting into the 5th home, and now you're bringing in, at this point, an extra $55,000 a year?
At $1,000 per property, that's $5,000 a month at 60.
12,000 times 5? Yeah,
60,000
$60,000 a year. So I bring in an extra $60,000 a year in actual passive income. This is profitable, and this is only if you're making an extra $1,000 a year on each individual property, which hopefully you're making more, but now with all this stuff, who knows? But anyways, so $60,000 extra a year plus your full-time income. Now with that, you take that $60,000 a year plus your full-time income, you start paying down each property. So once you start paying down each property, then once it's paid off completely, then now you have extra income coming in each year, each month. And so each mortgage you should be doing, if you're doing my method of buying $250,000 to $350,000, your mortgages are going to range between or your cost of holding it is basically going to range around $2,000 to $2,500 depending on all sorts of factors. Let's just say that. So now not only are you making that extra $1,000 a month, but now you're making an extra $2,000 or $2,500 a month. So now you're making $3,500 a month on that one property. So then next year goes by, you do the same thing, you pay off a second property. Now you do an additional on top of what you already were doing. Now you're making an additional $35 or so, or $3,000, or around $3,000 extra on top of that. And then every time you pay off another property, it just snowballs and snowballs until you can start paying off a property within 6 months or 3 months, depending on how much of your personal income you're saving. Once you get 5 properties, because I backtrack real quick. Debt is good if you use debt to make more income than you could make without the debt. But the goal in getting debt is not to constantly always get more and more and more and more and more debt, and then eventually just have a lot of debt. And so now you have a lot of income, but that income is paying off your debt. The goal is to get the debt to make extra money to then pay off the debt, and now you have all the money. And so once you have 5 homes, now you have these things clear and free. And if it's in a situation to where you're in a safe spot, your property's doing good, you're doing good, you're in a place, you can take on more debt, and instead of buying more properties cash because of all this extra income you're doing, what you could do is you can refinance one of your homes and then you can put basically cash out, or you can put a loan on your property. And once you put a loan on a property, that property now is worth more than it was. Say for instance, the first property you bought at $250 or so. Then that property 5, 6, 7 years later, whatever it is, as long as you bought it right, should be $300 to $350 depending on your market. So now you're putting a loan on a property that's costs even more than when you bought it. You can use that money to basically buy another property cash, and then you can use the extra money that's padded in to do any kind of fixes and whatever it is, repairs you need to do for that property. And then once you get that property on the market, now that loan that you put towards that, now you start the whole cycle over again. You can refinance and buy another 5 properties off of the other properties that you just got, and these properties now are making you cash flow, and you start the process all over again, but you can speed it up way faster because you already have these properties that are in your back pocket. So you pay off those 5 loans half the time that it took you to pay off the other 5 loans. And then you do this again, and do this again, and do this again. As long as you want to do it, but you're staying safe, you're pocketing the income, and you're building in a very low risk way of wealth while also increasing your net worth every time you pay off these debts. And what's the best thing right now is what you're watching in the market is that when this stuff starts going down, when the properties or when the economy starts falling apart, you want to put your money into hard assets that are only going to benefit you in the future. Now, why would this be the case? Wouldn't homes take a dive? It's true, but if the market ever falls apart, then what we do is we have to pump and print money, and then it inflates the price of our, it inflates the amount of money that is in the market, which is going to devalue our money, which is going to double the cost of, if you have money in the bank, it's going to cut the price of your money in the bank dramatically, like what that value is. But the properties you bought at $100,000, if it's going to double the whatever the escalated cost of the money in the monetary system, then your property just doubled in value, but you bought it for half of what it's currently worth. This is a really long topic to go over right now, but I will make a much more in-depth video. Thank you for the question. I need to stop talking before.
Yeah, I remember there was I think it was Zimbabwe who hyperinflated, and in order to buy a loaf of bread, it cost a wheelbarrow full of money. That's crazy. And that just really explains a loaf of bread costs this much pile of money. If we doubled the amount of currency in the U.S. in order to give more free cash flow, the home still costs money to buy. It just costs relatively twice as much because there's twice as much cash available. Homes don't become cheaper because they print money.
Yeah,
so it makes sense.
You just get more money for, you put 5% in, now that 5% just gained you barrels and barrels of bread money. Okay,
favorite high-level metrics.
That is all you. Vore clicks. No, I'm not a nerd. He's the smart one. What's your high-level metrics?
My favorite high-level metrics: net profit per door. In a regular economy, we net $800 per door after all expenses. Revenue over rent is another number I like to play with when I'm looking at taking on somebody else. Right now, I'm shopping for other people's Airbnbs, and they want to unload their positions. The reason why somebody might do this is they think that the Airbnb economy will be like a drought for more than 4 months. And so people who think that this is going to last a long, long time, they're looking to unload their positions. So as I go to pick up properties, I'm looking at the revenue over rent, because what it does is it guts their operational structure from the calculations, because I believe that I have a more lean operational structure than most hosts. So the only numbers I care about is the revenues and the rents, and then I can inject my own ops model. Even if they're losing money, they could be losing money because their ops model was bad. So those are some of my favorite metrics.
Great.
Yeah.
We feel about it. That's awesome, getting paid to travel the world. Josh is doing a great job answering all your questions and keeping the conversation going in the chat. Go, Josh. Josh, if you guys don't know from my previous videos, he is my assistant, future multi-millionaire by 25. That's the goal if the world doesn't burn. Sean Rakidzich, do you own some of your Airbnbs? I like how he Sean Rakidzich. You can probably Google it. Yeah.
I own $0 of real estate.
Kyle Webb. He does not own. I own. He rents. Shelly. You guys are a great tag team. Hey! Double Dragon.
Sorry if that was loud.
Oh, yeah. We got Joshua Paz. Philip, much appreciated what Sean is doing with all the ups and downs that goes on, such as people's kindness gives me so much hope. Oh, that's nice. What advice would you be?
It reminds me of 300. You will find I am kind. Remember the guy Xerxes? Remember?
Oh, yeah. Okay, here you go. Here's a Kyle Webb. We got Anthony Morrison. All right.
Anthony, he's the guy with the maid closet we mentioned earlier with the big house.
So. I'm going to post some of, on my other channel, I have a whole lot of walkthroughs with Anthony, updates with Anthony. He was my first Airbnb investor that trusted me to do this, so I have a whole lot of content from my old channel. So I'll repackage all that stuff up and put it in a good video for you guys to watch, to learn from what we learned from. There was a lot of ups and downs.
It's so fun looking at us look at that. Watching us look at the, what is everybody saying? It's so weird. They should just put we need a teleprompter thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Look like Will Ferrell and Anchorman.
All right, here we go. Kyle Webb, what's your advice with being in Southern California where houses are very expensive? House hack, the beginning years, and rental arbitrage to get capital. Ah, man. Joshua Paz, need the beach. Okay. Man, California is tough.
So do you buy in house hack is one question.
Yeah. With California, man, I've been thinking about that for a long time. Like, how do people successfully do this in California if they have to buy $1 million home? I would have to figure out how much the home could rent for. Obviously, the metrics are always the same. So, how much would the home rent for? Would it still make sense as a rental? Can you cover all your things? How much is the escalation of the property each year? Like, how high is it appreciating? Would it make sense to be a buy and hold investor for that reason? And lastly, how much money am I paying to hold the property versus how much I can get from Airbnb? And also, what's about to happen? What's the likelihood of this area being able to survive, and California in general being able to survive? What's happening with the mass migration that's happening outside of California?
I thought you meant with Joe Biden.
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. Joe Biden's not going to win. I was a huge Bernie guy, and so was he.
Yeah, I like Bernie.
We all wanted Bernie to win, but it's going to be Trump. I mean, you guys need to start mentally.
And you know what? I
preparing
think
for
people
that
would be
now.
stunned to hear that because, like, aren't you guys capitalists and want to keep all your money? And we're like, well, yeah,
I want
money's
the
great.
world to do better.
Yeah.
And if it means that I need to support other people that don't have the opportunities that I was given as a white male in a nice economical situation like a suburb of Dallas, then I'm more than happy to help. I think it's the right way to go. Anyways, this is not this topic. This topic is, what would you do in California?
I would look
That's
for
what I'd
places
do.
that have rent control, and I would make a side agreement with landlords that I'd pay them a performance fee. Because if properties are expensive and there's rent control, that means landlords can't really make that much money, but rent is low and hotel prices are high in places that have rent control. So I would get a bunch of Airbnb arbitrages, and I would make a side performance, like what do they call that? A spiff. I'd make a spiff for my landlord to give him a little extra cheddar if we do well. And every
You
landlord
give your
wants to make...
landlords cheese?
Yeah, of course.
That's a random thing.
I check cheddar like a food inspector.
I prefer money. Sorry, continue. That's it?
That was it. I just
All right.
ended with the Jay-Z line. What do you want me to say?
Anthony, how do I keep my hair so great? I don't know if you're talking about mine or his, but
He's my hair a consultant now that I have less of it. So
yeah, I always try to make it like move it to the left just a little bit. I don't know, bro. Like, I don't use any product, and maybe that's why I've never really used product, and also I don't really do shampoo or conditioner. No, that's not true. I do shampoo and conditioner like twice a week. Other times I just let the water do it. But I'm also half Spanish and Greek, or I'm somewhat Spanish and somewhat Greek, so I think that might be it as well. Jonah! Man, I
nice.
love Jonah.
I like how you say Jonah.
Yeah, I like Jonah, man.
Hey, Jonah. Yes, I thought they didn't know which Jonah you were talking about, so I caught that the Guelzo at the end.
Yeah.
Jonah was the one that came with us to Colombia to shoot some video. Way awesome. Really cool camera. Can't believe he only shot in 1080p, but that stuff was so crisp.
Yeah, man, he's so good. I can't wait to try.
And
with
he's
him
listening
again.
to this stuff.
Well, he maybe popped out of the.
No, he's not in and out.
Hey, Josh, can you hear for a second? Can you hear for a second?
Hey, he threw you a big congrats with a red tag, which was really cool. He's got some cool skills.
Okay, to answer the next question, sit down for a second. I mean, we can't be this close.
Come
we,
on
we
down.
haven't quarantined this much.
Yeah, this
Sorry,
guy's-
bro. Okay.
Yeah, so don't worry, you're in the frame.
So
That's on
quickly,
anyway.
this is Josh.
Hey, what's going on?
Just that's Josh.
Hey.
Okay, now get out of here.
All right.
Get
Go
get
back
outta
to
here.
back to social distancing. Thanks,
Um,
Josh. We love you.
Okay, the next question is, what people do you employ in what jobs? Like, what's the management structure of your business? And so I'll quickly go through mine because mine's a lot simpler than his because I don't have 100+ properties. But Josh is my go-to for everything. So Josh, I found him when he was like 18, and he showed a lot of promise, a lot of potential, a lot of hunger, a lot of drive, and he wanted to get into real estate. And I was like, yeah, I'll just kind of show you, I'll throw you a couple bones here and there. And then through the time, we've kind of ebbed and flowed, and now he's kind of found kind of what he wants to do long term, because initially he just didn't quite know. And now he kind of figures out that he just really wants to get really good at being a property manager. And so now I set him up with all my different kind of clients. And what he does is I still bill him hourly to do side jobs for me. Just like today, I'm paying him to sit down and basically go through the chat group with you guys. But I just pay him to do odd jobs to help me in my life and my business and help things grow. But separately outside of that, he answers all my Airbnb and inquiries. So all the messages that come in. If I have an Airbnb resolution situation come up, he goes through all that and he puts all the files. He gets on the cameras. He shows all the proofs and all the stills. He sends it to Airbnb. He basically just handles all that stuff. And so I really never need to check my Airbnb or my Messenger or anything. I still take care of my pricing just because sometimes he gets really aggressive with the pricing just to get some people in there. I'm like, I'd rather not have someone in my. Him and I are very different. He'll fire sale some of his places like $10 a night just to get someone in there. I'm like, I'd rather just the property sit empty than take the risk of having people come in there that are complete trash. Like, I'm sorry if that offends you guys, but every time I lower certain properties down to a certain price, it comes in with like total ghetto people that tear the property up. I get gunshots. I get my neighbors calling me. I get all sorts of car alarms.
You said gunshots?
Oh yeah, a lot of gunshots for sure. Josh, we've had videos about it. But
Wow.
yeah, so I don't do that. I make sure to say this is as low as I'll go. Josh, stop messing with the prices. And then he'll be like, well, I saw Sean Rakidžich's video and he has this pricing strategy where he drops it down. I'm like, I'm not Sean Rakidzich. Don't do that. So I do the pricing. But other than that, Josh takes care of all the supplies. I also have a cleaning staff that I got from Anthony Morrison. And so that has about 4 or 5 people. We pay them, I think it's, like $100 a door or so? How much is a cleaning staff on a 4-bedroom property?
On 4-bedroom, for the regular cleanings, I think it's $100.
It's like, damn. So it's like $100 for us to do a cleaning for the big house, a 4-bedroom house. Like 70 or so for the small house that I have that is no longer going to be on Airbnb. But he takes care of all the supply runs, and he also makes sure that the cleaners know where to go, when to go, and how much to be there, and he shares the calendars with them and stuff like that. So Josh is my guy, and then outside of that, we also have the cleaners. So that's the only people I have to pay right now. But this guy...
Yeah, okay, my management structure. Oh, wow, okay. Man, I wanted to respond to something you said, and I can't remember.
About my hair?
It's probably about your hair and your product that you don't use. Okay, so let's just use Dallas because we duplicate per city. So in Dallas we have housekeepers. The housekeepers have a 5-step cleaning system that I haven't published yet. They follow through with that. They have a lead housekeeper, and the lead housekeeper does training, interviewing, hiring on the housekeeping side, and quality checks. So they'll spot check, because one of the biggest parts of management is continue to inspect what you expect. So we have a housekeeping lead. Then we have an ops manager who's over top of the housekeeping lead, and the ops manager oversees housekeeping, oversees the guest relations staff that we have, and that's centralized. Our guest relations staff actually handles all of our volume for all of our cities, so it's one office, but our Dallas manager oversees guest relations. The guest relations people handle our 4-message system, which I did publish on YouTube, and handles guest resolutions and stuff like that. Then we have an assistant manager for Dallas because Dallas has like over 50 properties, and so the assistant does a lot of busy work. We just onboarded a director of channels because we're going multi-channel. And then we have designated maintenance switches, which are people who are on our housekeeping team, but we switch them to do maintenance when we have the need to have it done. And so our ops manager does all the ordering, all the bill pay, all of the payroll, and then oversees the different pillars that we have. And so the ops manager handles the logistics from that. Well, the question we answered earlier in this video, they manage that logistics for supplies as well.
Okay, Justin, he just said...
And I do pricing too, like Sean does.
It's only 5 minutes left. I forgot about that. We said this is going to be an hour, so let's try to speed this up.
Wow.
How many properties do you guys own or rent? How many do you rent right now?
I have about 103.
103. I own 2. I'm not like a freaking baller or anything like that.
And I don't own any of them.
But I have a strategy that I'm trying to make sure that as much I can buy more, but I'm trying to tell myself that I want to be the guinea pig for other people, and I'm buying 1 property a year. Just like I said, I'm buying 1 property a year until this year I was supposed to buy 2, but all this crap's happened. And I already found a bunch of... I'm going to be buying 1 more again this year, possibly 2. That's the goal, is that I'm wanting to have 4 by the end of this year. I don't know if it's going to happen with all this stuff, but I have enough money saved up to do 2. I'm just trying to find the right deal. It's not always up to me, it's up to finding the right deal. But I'm also a real estate... My main thing is being a real estate agent and real estate investor agent, not necessarily a real estate investor. That's the side thing I do on the side, and that's how I'm going to retire myself, is doing this. I'm in for the long haul. I'm not trying to race my way to the top. I'm not trying to be I really don't want more than 5 or 10 homes. My goal is not 100 homes. I want 10 max, maybe one day, but I'm trying to do that over the next 10 years or so. Okay, not looking to work. It's awesome. What are you guys looking at? Also, the returns for Kyle, I would never want that. A $900,000 home for $10K in net, no way. I would not do that.
Unless you have a gross, awesome debt pay down and that was your only option, but there are better options. If you're going to take out a $900,000 mortgage, I'm sure there's better options out there than doing it in California.
He's looking to pick up arbitrage properties. Yes. I don't know how to say your whatever. He's looking to pick up Airbnb properties. He's always trying. He just tried to pick up 3 floors at the Hamilton here in Dallas, but
Hey.
insider secrets. It's not going anywhere. No one else can get it. If they're not giving it to him, no.
Yeah, they're not going to.
Right now, they're not doing anything right now. I have a 3-bedroom house near Deep Ellum. Maybe you two should connect.
Yes, I will take your 3-bedroom house in Deep Ellum. You have yourself a deal. And so on my Facebook, somebody did ask a question. They asked, am I on any other channels? And how do I research to know where is good? I already answered the where is good, but am I on other channels? We grew to 100 doors on only Airbnb. And we've just started switching to Booking. We turned it on in November, but Booking is so cumbersome, complex, and intricate. And their payments by booking system, unless you're on payments by booking, and let me say it this way, if you're not with payments by booking, they want you to collect cash or a check or a card when the guest checks in. They don't verify if this happens. They'll charge you 18% even if the guest never arrives. So if you're on Booking.com, you need to make sure that you don't accept guests until you have a prepayment system set up on Booking.com. Otherwise, they'll just bill you 18% and you have to call Booking.com and go, no, they never stayed, and it's a mess. So we activated Booking, we deactivated Booking. We're now in the process of reactivating Booking again, and that's why we got a director of channels. I will be doing future videos of like how to create accounts on different channels. We're also on... there's different things like Furnished Finder that we've gone on, and there's a couple other nuanced or boutiques rental softwares that have sprung up because of the COVID-19 crisis. People are like creating specialized housing sites for this, and so we've gone multi-channel, but we're also on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace right now. We're like grinding it out, so we are all sorts of places with our properties.
Yeah. So, Mr. Josh, we have on my story and on his YouTube and on Facebook, we got a couple questions outside of this chat group.
Booking
so
sucks.
yeah,
That's right.
It does. But we're going to go through those really quick, and unless you guys have any other questions, we're going to be wrapping it up with these questions. We can technically just do this all day. I guess this gives us more advice or more motivation to do this again in the future. But Josh is going to go through some of the questions that I had on Instagram, then we'll go through some of the stuff that he had on his YouTube.
Hi, Instagram down there.
And then while he does that, can you check your YouTube community?
Oh, yeah, let me check our community. I have a community, guys.
Yeah, I want a community.
All right,
Community.
so coming from Justin or JT, what are both Sean's secrets to staying calm and motivated in these times of turmoil?
Justin, he asks, what are, I don't know if they can hear you from that far away, but how do we stay calm in this time of turmoil? I think it's because we know, I mean, at least for me, I know what I have and I know what I want. And I didn't make anything too risky. I know a lot of people in some of my comments, which I love haters. Like, I don't know what it is. I see the people when they comment really crappy on my things. I'm like, that's a really interesting comment. Thanks for the feedback. I don't know why people get so wrapped up around bad comments, but
It's almost fun to troll too, because they get triggered.
I know. I guess I like trolling sensitive people, but the reason why is that I don't over leverage myself. I do technically over leverage myself because I bought properties at 5% down, but I bought them intelligently at 5% down. That if I bought them at 20% down, then
Instagram video ended.
Yeah, it's okay. I think this might end.
All of you guys on Instagram, come back here to YouTube.
Yeah.
I doubt that the stream is going to completely end, but
I hope
continue.
not.
Continue, me, Lord.
Yeah, he's the Lord now. He just bought land over in Ireland?
I bought land in Scotland.
Scotland. Okay. But yeah, so at 20%, if I would have bought like a normal investor at 25%, I'd have been completely fine. But I'm still fine even at 5%. And so even when times got really rough and people are like, oh man, what are you going to do? Your property is you have no bookings. I'm like, yeah, well, I've planned for this. I know there's going to be a downturn. I didn't know it was going to be like this, but I already planned for this to happen. So I have a significant amount of money saved up in my savings account that I was going to use to buy more properties, or always have 6 months worth of reserves in your back pocket just in case something like this happens. So not too worried about that. Plus the forbearance thing doesn't really get me too scared. Plus my lease is up in my, I have a high rise, and no, I don't have a high rise, I live at a high rise, and so I'm thinking about possibly moving back into the first investment house and just not taking the first renter that comes to me, because I've been getting a lot of tours of people that want to come look at the house. but none of them have been really solid yet. And so instead of just taking the first thing that comes to me, then I'm thinking about just staying there and just basically living there instead of getting a new apartment for a while. And so I'm not too worried about it. Everything kind of is going to work out for me in the end, I think, unless I over leverage myself, which I didn't do. So I'm not too worried about it. I don't know if that answers that question. And plus Final Fantasy VII is coming out tonight, and it's like, how can you focus on the world being at war with itself right now when you have Final Fantasy VII Remake? I've been waiting 20 years for this to come out, and it's like, life is good. Life is good. Cloud Strife is back. He's fighting Sephiroth again, so
It's huge.
everything's good in my book.
Sephiroth!
How do you,
How do you think I handle stresses and adversities?
StarCraft?
Yes, I play StarCraft 2 now.
He just started.
Yeah, I guess that would be the answer I could expect from you right now. Yeah, okay. Okay, so Stoicism. We're all going to die anyway. We don't. We none of us are significant. We don't mean anything. Everything that happens to us, doesn't matter because we don't matter. So why worry about it? Like to lie to ourselves to think that we have any value. But then from there, accept that and grow from there. And so I'm actually like a surprisingly optimistic and happy person because I've accepted that we are molecules in the universe. And I love a challenge. I love to grow through challenges. I like self-improvement. And if you can accept where you are, anytime your position in the universe changes, because what this did is this just knocked everybody back. Hey, ring, ring, ring. This just knocked everybody back, like big time. Now, there's so many people that are going through like the 5 stages of like depression, despair, like what are those? Like there's denial, there's like negotiation, stuff like that. There's people who go through that process of recovery when something bad happens to them and they have to take a step back. Those people are wasting time. The only thing you should do is if your position in the universe changes for better or for worse, you have a waypoint, and like he said, he knows what he wants. Stop like comparing where you are to where you were and just draw a new path, right?
That's solid.
The universe just knocks you off the road. Just draw a new path to your destination. You might be cutting through the forest. You got knocked so far to the side. You just have to hack your way to your destination.
That's
but
so solid.
A lot of people try to get back to where they were to then go forward again, and that's a waste of time.
They say the root of all suffering is expectation.
Without hope, there can be no suffering. Bane.
No, like
Batman.
Instead of trying to figure out like don't measure your happiness based on how you were or how you thought you were going to be. Just like I always talk about it, but I love Frozen 2. They talk about just do the next right thing. And that's just it. That's all you got to do is just not be like, oh, this sucks because I was going to do this. Like, no, you weren't because that never happened.
Yeah.
Don't attach yourself to an outcome that didn't happen yet. Like say, well, okay, what am I going to do now? And don't compare it to what you've lost because you never had it. You didn't lose a potential future because that future never existed. It's just in your mind. So just say, okay, based on what I know right now, scientifically thinking, logically thinking, let's not go on faith, let's not go on belief, let's talk about scientific, logical facts, numbers. Based on the numbers, what's the best outcome for me? Statistically speaking, if I go this way, that's the best statistical outcome. And then if it doesn't work, we're going to reassess whenever we get there. Okay, what's the next question, Mr. Josh?
Well, I'm actually going to get this from the chat, but because I thought it was kind of
Bees in the chat.
What are your thoughts on Furnish Finder?
Furnish Finder. Before we get into that, I want to say a quick love you to Justin. Justin, you've been a supporter ever since day one. Also, CJ, if you're watching this, thank you so much for always supporting. You've always been really active. And also this Maria Corleone, you've always been there, and I really appreciate you helping out too. For everyone that's been there from like the day one, first 5 subscribers, first 10 subscribers, and you've been consistent all the way through, I just appreciate it so much,
Isn't
man.
Corleone the family from Godfather?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying. I think it's Corleone.
my daughter's wedding,
yeah.
not as a friend, asking for money.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much for supporting that.
Asking for likes.
Okay, so, and then thank you everybody else that's been there and supported as well. I've seen a lot of new people on here that I need to start reaching out to.
Squad up.
So what do you feel about Furnish Finder?
It's a great idea. It's low volume, so don't expect it to be your bread and butter, but when you get something good. I would actually direct dial. I did a video on it. Direct dial staffing companies. Or if you want to be included in our base of homes that we're direct dialing for, just join the Facebook group, the hosts of Airbnb Automated, because I've got a whole team working with like staffing companies too to do off-platform bookings. But get aggressive. Furnish Finder is great to get. It's like a line in the water. It's like those guys with the big yachts and they've got the 5 fishing poles that they drag behind. It's one fishing pole, but you need many. And it's not going to get you a lot of fish, but it gets you good fish.
Yeah. What else we got?
Yep. So this one's from Justin as well. So this is
Justin.
What would be the best time to buy a new property given the current economy?
You said 2 or 3 months from now, right? Most likely.
Justin, the best time to buy right now, I mean, the best time, this is such a real estate agent answer, I got to. The first real estate agent answer is, the best time to buy a property is when the best time for you is. You gotta talk about your financial numbers and talk to your lender and find out when the best time for you, and don't try to time the market. So that's typically the thing I'm supposed
The
to say.
second answer is buy from Sean Ray right now.
Yeah, for me right now, I would say, like right now, Anthony Morrison, one of my closest friends, he's in a really good deal, and I really like that house. And so I would tell him to back out right now if I didn't believe in the house. But I believe in the area, I believe in the house. I think it's a really, really unique deal. And I'm telling him to continue on with it, because even if he buys it now, then we push the closing to June 1st, or May 1st, June 1st. And so then he won't have to start paying until August. And so I think it's fine. I think if you got a good deal and you're working on it right now and it hits all the metrics that you like, then stick with it. If you're in a deal that might or might not work and you're not quite sure, or you haven't started the process yet, then just hold off. Just the 2 months like I'm doing, I was about to, and I still might buy this one property. This one property is really cool. But if I can get a good enough deal on it, the numbers go down low enough. But if you can't get that deal at a fire sale, then don't desperately buy in. Like, I want to buy Tesla right now so bad. I want to buy Tesla stocks so bad because I wanted to buy them at 380, and I'm not doing dollar cost averaging on this per week because I don't want to buy it at an average price or above average price. I'm only going to buy it if it's a good deal, and if it's not a good deal, I'm not buying it. And it sucks because I know it's going to go up, but still, I just refuse to buy a bad deal, even if it means I'll get better in the end. So find out what's a good deal for you in your market. If you can't find it, don't force it. Wait. In the next 2 or 3 months, it's going to be a decent opportunity. I feel for everybody. If not, sorry, I was wrong. That's what you get for listening to do it on YouTube.
I do want to say, it's like, I guess how many more questions do you have?
I have quite a few actually.
Holy dogs.
We haven't even started on that.
I have like probably 8 more questions from Instagram.
Okay, so let's pick the top 2.
Okay, top 2.
How many do you have on your YouTube?
So let me see.
With the IO, we already went through.
Oh, okay.
We had 2 of them.
So I guess this is from your people from the Facebook chat. So this is from Vanal Dosis. I can't really pronounce that. Where do you find profitable areas? Do you use AirDNA? And
Yeah, we already went over that one.
Oh, you already went over that one. Okay.
Yep.
So is your Airbnb in the negative? I guess that was more so directed to Sean.
How is a good time to buy a home in April or currently in contract? Yep. What was that?
Is your Airbnb negative? So they're asking about the currency.
Is my Airbnb negative? Also, I got one of my buyers right now in the chat that I have to answer his question right after this because it's very topical because it's happening right now. Are my Airbnbs negative? So I typically, between 2 Airbnbs, I typically bring in about $15,000 or so a month. And one Airbnb I bought for $220,000. The other one I bought for like basically $320,000. So not a bad return. This month I just checked, and I'm at $1,200 for the month. And so I would say yes, they're negative right now, unfortunately. But I did forbearance on the big one, and then on the small one, I'm doing a streamlined FHA, which is lowering my monthly cost from like $1,980 to like $16 something. And so it's going to make it more reasonable. Plus, on top of that, I have I'm putting that for rent for like $2,000 a month. So I'm going to make $400 or so profit. So it's going to work out in the end, so I'm not too worried about it. And I can handle the couple of months that I'm not being super profitable on the big house because, I've been making a ton of money on it every month, and I've been saving that money like a smart person should. And so that's the answer for that.
Yeah. And for me, because I bet some of you guys are curious, we are negative in Houston. Our Houston properties are getting just bathed right now, but Dallas, Fort Worth, and Philly were positive. So some yes, some no. But of course, like he said, I grind and lower my rates to get bookings. So some people don't like that. And I'll do a video of because I love bad guests, because bad guests, they pay Airbnb for every stupid thing that they do. We have good documentation, we have a good process. They check out late or stay an extra couple of days, they have to pay full rate for their extra couple of days that they overstayed. We drop our rate to $35 today plus cleaning fee, and the average nightly rate, or the regular base rate's $110 a night. They stay 2 days because they just felt like it. They pay $110 a night for those extra 2 days. So bad guests right now can be some of the most profitable guests you have. So I'll do a video on that later. But yeah, so Houston, we're getting crushed. And then our other 3 cities, we're doing all right.
We're getting so many. This is gonna be a 3-hour long live stream. Okay, so my man.
Furnished Find is competitive in San Diego, Shelly says.
Cool.
That's good.
So there is a client that I have right now. He just asked a question in the chat box. He said, "What happens if you're trying to buy in April? Can it still work if you're trying to buy in April?" And so
I say don't buy an occupied home if you have a federally backed loan, because they may not pay rent and you can't evict them. That'd probably be the only thing I'd be worried about.
that's not what he's asking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like buying.
So he's buying a property. So the situation with this buyer is we are under contract right now for a almost $400,000 house over in Dallas, and it is an awesome house. I mean, it's basically a 5-bedroom insane house. You can fit a boatload of beds in there. Like you can probably get easily 18 to 20 people in an actual bed if you include Murphy beds. And the location of it's really awesome, and it's just such a sick deal. And that was the house that I was about to buy, but the last 3 homes that I was about to buy for myself, I just gave to my, like, okay, here we go. And then one guy would be like, hey, do you have any deals right now I can buy? I've watched your YouTube channel. I'm like, damn it. And I'm like, all right, here you go. But this next one, like, hey, do you have any deals? Damn it. And so every time I get a house for me, I'm giving it to a client. So this is one of those situations where this house was an awesome house I was super excited about, but I ended up just giving it to this client because he seemed super cool. And he was like, hey, I follow you on YouTube. And I was like, oh, man, that's so cool. So anyways, I gave him the house that I was trying to buy. This house I can see easily being a $10K a month house or more in a not now time. And whenever things go back to normal, I can see this easily being a 10K house. The likelihood is that we went in this property before all this stuff started happening, and I told him to push it out, just like I did with Anthony, push it out and I even got it approved. I did an amendment to the contract to push it out till we close on May 1st. That way he doesn't have to start paying until July. But the rate change for him to do it was going to cost too much, which is confusing for me because the other deal with Anthony, when he's using my lender, Derek, the rate change fee was only like $1,000. And for him, it was like, this person that's buying that I'm talking about was like $3,000 to $4,000, something crazy like that. So I'm like, whoa, why would you do that? Change your lender. That's why I told you to use my lender. But yeah, so right now it doesn't seem to make sense for him to push it to May 1st to get an extra free month because of the cost for him to do the rate change, the rate lock. So we're stuck trying to close in April. So with him trying to close in April, I don't think anybody is looking for his kind of house in April. So he has to be completely aware that the home is going to sit empty for about a month or 2. So he has to have the cash reserves for this, and at the same time still be putting in a lot of furniture in there because he has to start marketing the property. So it's going to be rough, and this is a sad situation that we're in right now. If you're trying to buy properties and you're closing in April, then you have to be okay with it not performing well for the first month or 2. But after the first month or 2, starting in June, July, then we're going to start seeing people trickle back in, and then hopefully people right now are starting to plan their trips for June and July, and not waiting until June, July, and be like, okay, if the world's back to normal, let's start planning our trips. Because that might be a thing too. Whenever that does happen, then I would think that June, July, August, he can probably make around basic cost holdings for his property, maybe $1,000 profit per month. And then going into September, October, November, as long as we don't go back into a recession because of the forbearance or the forbearance crisis, the mortgage crisis we might be going through soon, and then if the virus doesn't reinitiate itself into our market, then I believe that he'll start becoming about $6-7 grand or so a month, starting in about September, October. But then there's going to be a down cycle with big homes like that starting in November, December, and then January is going to be slow too. But then starting in February, then we'll start seeing the property finally hitting those 10K a month, probably 7 to 8K a month in February, March. Same. Then whenever it starts getting to April, May, June, then we'll start getting 10K next year. Because of all this stuff, he just so happened to miss the awesome timing of the market because of this stupid virus that happened. So unfortunately, it's not going to be a slam dunk like we thought it was going to be, because who could have predicted this was going to happen? Mm-hmm. Should he back out of the deal because of this? That's up to him, and he should decide that. If not, but is he okay with holding on to a property that's going to increase in value? As long as the market doesn't tank, then this, outside of Airbnb, is a undervalued property for the area based on where it's going to be in 5 years. So does he need to buy a property like this in a year to then get that? But if he does, then now he's having to pay an extra $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to do that because his house has gotten at a good deal in a good area. So that money that he might have lost or just broken even on, now by holding it so long, then the property just went up $30,000 or $40,000. So he might have been not getting the numbers that he wanted, but he did just make some equity growth, and he doesn't have to buy in and lose that money now to just get back to normal, just get down to baseline. So these are all the questions that you have to ask yourself as an investor. What is really important to you, and if the numbers work? This is why it's hard being a real estate investor, because it's not just cut and dry. You got to think of all sorts of different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you crushed that one.
Okay, cool. All right. Questions, Josh. Thank you guys for staying around so long. I know it's only supposed to be ending. I know it's supposed to be. We're 15 minutes over.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to make the next couple questions just one sentence to 5 sentences, but it's so hard because we're so long-winded.
Well, actually, I trimmed down a lot of the questions
Cool.
since he said he wanted to do all the important ones. So really, there's only 2 more. So
Cool.
one's from Justin. One last one from Justin. He says, "When do you think it'll be responsible to travel outside of the country again?" And then we have another one from Jordan Lang, who asked, "Should I pay off my credit card debt before investing in real estate?"
Oh, Jordan Lynn. Yeah, Jordan.
I'd say yeah, because your credit score gets affected based on how much debt you carry, right?
So first, well, let's just do Jordan first. Jordan, hey, thanks for the. I hope you're watching. Jordan and I know each other for a long time.
Cool.
So
Hi, Jordan.
Jordan is a female, and so yeah, you didn't make a sexual. Yeah, it was hi Jordan is just a.
Just hi, Jordan.
I thought you were like, hey dude. It's for some reason in my mind I thought he said something about being anyway. So
It's been a long video.
it's been a long video. My brain started to shut down. The question is, okay, so basically as an investor in general, you got to always think about what's your ROI versus what's your negative. And so if you're at a negative 14 or 22, whatever it is your credit card is right now, every single month if you have 10K debt on your credit card and you're losing 14 on APR or 20, let's say for instance, then you should 100% invest in real estate. If you could make more than that, for sure. But the likelihood is, if it's your first home and you don't quite know what you're doing and there's going to be some learning curves, what's the likelihood of you making at least 5% over what you're paying for in your bad debt for your credit card? And so in that case, I would say pay your credit card down, because you're probably not going to beat that ROI on your first home. If you just let me be in complete control of it in a normal market, I can say, hell yeah, I'll blow those numbers out of the water. You can definitely trust me, buy the home, and then we'll put it on Airbnb, and with the profit you're making on Airbnb, pay off your credit card. That's what I typically would say if we were to go back 3 months ago. As of right now, I just don't know. I don't know what's about to happen. And so I can't tell you what to do, what not to do. I can only tell you what is for sure always a solid investment strategy, and that is pay off your bad debt first. If you don't know for a fact, you can be better ROI than your bad debt.
So you're not recommending to totally pay off a credit card, but I guess for questions, because there's a lot of people who are going to be carrying high balances on their cards right now. How bad is having a high average carry balance on credit cards for trying to get a mortgage and trying to get a good rate on a mortgage?
You want your debt to income ratio. And so it's hard because, especially for Jordan is an independent contractor, and so she does a lot of odd jobs. And so it's really hard for 1099 people versus W-2 people to make sure to classify their income correctly. And
So are you saying that your credit score does not affect what percentage interest your mortgage is going to be?
those are two completely not unrelated. Let me answer it. Okay, so say for instance she does hair, makeup, and then she does all sorts of odd jobs like working at haunted houses and stuff like that, right?
Cool.
So most likely she's not claiming all of her income because she's an independent contractor. And so say for instance at the end of the year she might just be with the government might say that she only made like $15,000 that year, hypothetically speaking. Mm-hmm. Then if that's the case, then she should pay down her credit card, because then it's showing that if she has 10K, or say for instance she has $15,000 in debt, and it shows she made $15,000 in that year, then her debt to income ratio is like whack, like 100%. Like she makes exact amount as she does for her debt, and so there's no way she'll ever get approved for anything if she's trying to invest in real estate.
Got it.
But that doesn't have anything to do with your. You can have a 900 credit score, and if your debt to income ratio is not at like 45-50% balanced somewhat, then it doesn't matter. They're not going to give you a loan. Like you have to have a balanced.
So there's
debt to income
twofold.
ratio.
If your debt to income ratio is bad, you can't get a loan at all. Then, as far as your rate goes, I guess the reason why I was asking, because I think a lot of people I don't have a mortgage, so this is like a newbie question. This is kind of fun. Is My belief is if your credit score is 760, you get a different percentage point than if your credit score is 660.
Yeah, so there's brackets, and so within this bracket you get this kind of rate, and within this bracket you get this kind of rate. But they won't even allow you to get to that point if you don't have a certain debt to income ratio.
Okay.
So if your debt to income ratio is solid, then they say, okay, we can approve you for this amount, but based on how much of a risk you are, we can give you this money at this rate.
So then, what I was going to try to get to here is, do you consider how expensive your debt becomes when considering whether or not to pay off your credit card? Because if let's say you have $20,000 in credit card debt, but the cost of debt because of your rate change would equate to $40,000 more in debt, then it's more expensive to not pay off your credit card because...
Well, it's $40,000 increase in debt over 30 years. But
Yeah.
if you're doing that divided out and you're making $10K on say for instance, like on my property, I'm holding that property for around $300 to $3,500 a month, but I'm making $10K on that, which I'm really profiting after you take everything away, a good $5K or more a month after net. And so it doesn't matter what my rate is, even if I have to go a little higher, a little longer, if it creates if I'm making an additional $5,000 on that, then I can use that extra $5,000 to go pay off the other debt if I want, and just use that as just kind of constant, just live stream.
Yeah.
Live stream is also reference to Final Fantasy for all you guys that are really excited about it today.
Yeah, today's the day.
Did they answer that?
Yeah, I think so, because now my brain is like wheeling on it like, well, if it takes 4 more months to buy a home because you paid off your credit card, you lost $4,000 of profit, but you saved $20,000 on your debt, so it's a net of 16. But if you own the home for 4 months longer, you could buy a second home faster. So it's complex.
Yeah, so one thing that I heard once that I really love, and he truly understands this, is that it's money, and then there's currency. And then currency is supposed to be a current, like a river. And then the more that you put your money into the current, then the faster the current will go. And you can pull out and put back in, pull out and put back in. As soon as you take the water out of the current, then it will stay stagnant, it'll create a pond, it'll get moldy and gross and just be you can't drink it then, but if it's in a stream and that stream is going really hard and fast and it's going down the mountain, then you can drink it all day and it's healthy to drink.
And then you don't gotta dance because you make money moves. Money's gotta move.
Hey, we can dance if we want to. Okay, what do we got?
And then the last question was from Justin T. He asked, when would it be
When will be,
responsible
yeah.
time to
So we are obsessed with travel. We have another channel that we're going to be starting. We were starting it in 2018. So make sure that stay tuned. In 2018, we're going to start this channel called Lords of Travel.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, it's 2019. Wait.
It's 2020.
2020. Okay, wait. 2021? Maybe 2022. Okay, the fact is we were supposed to start this travel channel like years ago of all of our really cool videos that we've edited together of us traveling. It hasn't
And
happened
so Mac
yet.
and Jacob, who have edited our Italy videos and shot our Italy videos, and they still haven't been published, we're super sorry. We'll call you soon.
Yeah, we love you guys and thank you for being so patient. There's a lot of people that came over trips with us like, dude, we threw in a couple $100. Like, where's our videos? Like, sorry guys, we just...
Did they actually pay us money?
Yeah, Anthony paid us.
Oh.
Yeah, Anthony and someone else paid us for Thailand.
He's that guy. I have no clue who pays what for what.
I've demoed you. Okay, anyways, wow. Justin, so when do we think that it's going to be good to start traveling again? I think they're going to start lifting restrictions in June, July, but I don't know how responsible it's going to be for people to travel to certain countries for a while. And I think certain countries that have been affected are going to not allow a lot of people in. So there's places like Korea and Singapore and places like that probably, in Japan, which is one of the places we want to go to, they have a different kind of policy when it comes to foreigners that is typically a little more strict. And so these places that we really want to go travel to, I don't believe we're going to be able to this year. But places like Brazil, like we had one guy in the comment, I think places like Brazil that haven't been affected that hard, Argentina, South America in general is a little more relaxed on their travel laws. And so we might be able to pop into there. Greece might be, because Greece is just a nation full of just people bouncing around and just chaos all the time. So Greece is going to need, they're going to need tourism dollars 100%. So they might let us in there. I don't know if we can do it by my birthday or not. Places like Serbia, I don't think they've been hit that hard. I haven't checked the numbers in Serbia. But I don't know if I'm 100% comfortable going to Europe anytime soon. I have to really make sure that the cases are really low before I go to Europe.
I guess it's there's a virologist who mentioned herd immunity. So I would imagine that it's safe to travel once a certain percentage of the world has gotten through it, because it's less spreadable the more that people have recovered from it. I don't know what percentage number that is. I think that is a question for a professional.
Yeah, and I think there might be a case that we can see in airports where we're going to get to where when you get off the plane, you do the and then they
like just test you.
and you're like, whoa, that is not part of
It's
what
gonna
is
be
this?
like a steampunk movie, like a post-apocalyptic. Like they're just gonna like.
You can go ahead.
This would be wild. We're gonna have like inserts in our wrist where they scan us, and it'll be bad. The government is coming. The government is coming.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. A lot of good things in the thing. I'm looking forward to having you close your house. I have 4 Airbnbs units in San Diego and 1 in the mountains in Manage2. Looking forward
We
to
could use the one in the mountains right now.
Maria's looking forward to our travel videos.
Hey,
I know,
we're
me
gonna
too.
post them.
Me too. One day.
So
we have so much extra time right now. This is the best time for us to be doing
We
this.
should be somewhere.
No, to like be making those videos.
Oh well.
We can even just do the talking head ones, like talking about the travel, like,
we could.
and then just clipping it in. We don't need
Yeah,
that really.
we
good
could do
stuff.
the vlog stuff, like the aftermath stuff. Like I told him about Jesus and Mero, which he's never seen before, and I was like, we should do like a Jesus and Mero style where 2 of us are sitting in chairs and just shooting the breeze.
Oh yeah, that thing. No, I was wanting to do that mixed with like a Vagabrothers or a High on Life kind of thing where we look at clips and then we start talking about them and we're like, oh man, remember that one time we did this one thing and then that one guy did the one thing, and like, oh, and then we clip into it, we'll be talking over it, we'll be showing, like, telling stories of our travels, and then at the end of it, then we post, after all those clips, we post like one big video of like a cinematic, like woo woo woo, and put like Kygo in the background and stuff like that. So that's the strategy, that's the goal. If you guys really want to see that, then blow up the comments, and then hopefully that will motivate Sean to.
For those of you that are still here, an hour and 20-something minutes.
We have 21 concurrent views. That's the,
that people have survived. You guys
we have the highest amount of views right now than we have the entire time. Which
really?
is
I haven't
wild.
even been watching the number. So
Yeah, the
those of
number's
you who
been
have been
around
watching,
7
thanks
to-
for being so wicked, awesome,
7
and
to 14
cool.
the entire time.
I guess I would say, like, since we're probably trying to close out this video since we've been here a while, right now it's an information game. A lot of you have asked, like, when's the best time to do this or that, or how to search for the best deals, what cities. It's an information game, and right now people's uncertainty and their stress because they're uncertain is high. And so the people who are going to come out ahead on this are the people who see that the whole world is feeling the burden of uncertainty and feeling the stress. And those people who can kind of get past that and have a cool level head, negotiate their deals well, operate with good business fundamentals, and just look at everything with a clear lens, those people are going to make the most from this opportunity, because people who are uncertain and skittish and stressed, they're going to make mistakes in the negotiations. They're going to let something go for too cheap, or they're going to try to charge too much to make up for lost time, and they're not going to make the deal happen, and then they're going to be forced to let go of things for too cheap. Like Warren Buffett likes to buy in situations like now, because when somebody else makes a mistake, you can come in and like rescue their deal up for pennies on the dollar. So knowledge is power. Get certain, learn, and educate yourself, and that way whatever it is you're going to go do in this economy, whatever deals you're trying to close, no more than the person you're negotiating with, and just stay chill, stay cool, because this isn't going to put you down. You're not going to be gone forever because of this thing. We're all going through it, and the key is just to keep a level head.
Yeah. I guess final thoughts. Oh, I want to do
Fantasy thoughts.
Final fantasy thoughts. Final thoughts from me. Before I get into my closing statement, we had one last question come in from the most important follower.
Your mom?
My mom.
Yes. Hi, Yolanda. I did not get him sick. See? I did not get him sick.
Yet.
Come on.
She asked if I got enough sleep. I look tired.
Is that really what she said?
Yeah.
If you he looked way fresh, like an hour and a half ago when we first started the stream. It's been a long time coming, Mom.
My sleep schedule, for those of you watching, I normally go to bed at 10 to 12, and I wake up at like 7 to 8, 9, and then I go to the gym, I work out, I get my coffee in me, I eat, I get my vitamins, and then I work throughout the day, and then I start to chill out, maybe take a nap, and then I do social stuff at night. Since this whole thing has started, I don't know when I'm going to sleep. I don't know when I'm waking up. I don't know what I'm doing today. I don't know. I'm definitely not working out. My food, I might eat once a day. So Yeah, maybe I'm a
Yes.
little tired looking because my life is all weird right now. So that's the answer to that. Sorry, Mom.
You're pulling Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
It's so skittish.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, but final thoughts. So final thoughts is, my mom told me. Speaking of my mom told me a really cool quote when I was younger, and basically, you find out who you are not in times of peace, but in times of war. And so it's the person on the field that is supposed to be the commander, that when they're, let's go men, let's go forward and charge, and as soon as the first bullet, and they duck behind, oh god, oh god, oh god, holding their gun, it's like, wow, we really figured out what kind of man you are, or woman. Whereas the soldier that's standing next to the general takes it and says, all right guys, follow me. And so you know who you are, not whenever things are going well, but when things are going completely wrong. And so find out who you are right now. When things seem kind of unstable and you see everyone else panicking around you and you see everyone else saying, the sky is falling, then you just look at them with a calm, really relaxed, emotionless face and just be like, it's fine. I've planned for this. I know this is happening, and I'm not going to let this affect me emotionally or spiritually. I'm just going to let this affect me logically, and I'm going to make the best decision, next best right decision.
do the next right thing.
Do the next best right thing, something like that. Do the next right thing. So that's the main thing going forward and all this, guys. I'm going to try to create the best content for you guys. I don't honestly know the best videos to make for you right now. I have a lot of ideas that I wanted to do for you, and I had a lot of stuff backlogged that was going to start popping out after I had 1,000 subscribers, but now it just kind of seems insensitive to talk about all these success stories and how you can get rich on Airbnb. So I'm going to have to restructure and then repivot myself in this channel and just figure out what you guys would want to hear about. And I do, just being totally transparent, I do watch other channels that I think they do a great job, and what do I have to add to that? I'm not a huge fan of Kevin. I think he's annoying as hell and I can't stand watching him. I just want to punch him in the face.
Wow, he's
very
probably
punchable.
watching right now.
No, he's not. He's very, very punchable, and I just want to, you're so annoying. But the fact is,
Kevin.
I don't care. Whatever. Sorry, Kevin. But the fact is that he does such a good job in his research. And I've been watching a lot of his videos lately because they aren't this annoying, stupid pitch. They actually are very valuable, good data. And so I watch his videos and he breaks down these certain strategies and all this kind of information. I'm like, wow, that's not me though. I'm not going to do that unless I get the Patreon to pay for the research team. And then I get Graham, Stefan, and then he's really going over stuff. So I'm trying to think, where would I fit in this YouTube space? I'd love for you guys, the 1,000 people that have supported me, to get me here to shape that and then make sure that I add the best value to you and not just repeating what other people are saying. So thank you guys for watching, and I am looking forward to adapting and growing with you, not from you. Wait, from you, not with you?
Growing with you.
Growing with you.
Not growing on you, not like a fungus. Not growing from you like a parasite, but growing with you like a partner. Or like family.
And on that note, stay safe out there, guys.
Siri, turn off the computer.
No. Does that work?
No, it doesn't.
All right, see you guys.
Do you want to end
again.
the stream? Yes, we're ending. Bye.
Bye. Comment below.